Hello everyone, this is a SIG Scheduling meeting, August 6th, 2026. We have one item in the agenda, so I think we can proceed with that.
Hey folks, I don't know how you guys run things here. If you want to take some time to read over the CAP and discuss it, um, I can also talk about it if that's preferred.
I only skimmed through that, so I think you can introduce the high-level view of the CAP.
Yeah, the high level view is we see that T topology spread constraints have a trade-off today built into them that it doesn't have to be the case. Users have to either decide if they want strict topology spread constraints, which means that during events that on failure domains, when a failure domain is completely out and all of the nodes get tainted due to like kubelet stopping heart beating, you can no longer scale up during the event. So you have to basically choose today between whether or not you want to be definitely 100% pre-scaled, pre-spread, i.e. strict topology spread constraints, or um, if you have to be able to scale during an event. And this is due to the way that like I'm proposing a change to fix that says that if we make min domains and no, honor taints policy work together, you can basically not have to make this trade-off. It applies in both static clusters and auto-scaled clusters.
Okay, and you propose to just introduce this mechanism without an okay, under the feature gate, but without an API configuration, right?
Yeah, I think that node taints policy already is the configuration that's correct for this.
So is it okay from the like API perspective that we change some behavior of the scheduling policy underneath, right? So can an user rely on the current behavior and be surprised that something changed by this gap?
Yeah, I don't think anybody is. I mean, if it happens at a minor version boundary, it happens at a minor version boundary, and I don't think anybody's going to be if we have the feature gate that is says like the new behavior is behind an alpha and then it becomes a beta and we can get user input that like it isn't breaking people will have the ability to opt out for a release and make some noise about whether or not it should be a new config. But in general, I don't think that this is something that needs I don't want another Boolean to reason about the combinatoric space of topology spread constraints. I think this is like the correct behavior that it should do it. And we should try to get to the point where this is how it works without needing another flag for users to opt into. And I'd also don't even know what kind of field would make sense for this. Like if you were going to add another Boolean, like would you say like min domains taints policy? And then you have to reason about what if I have node taints policy turned on, but min domains policy turned off, or min domains policy turned on, but node taints policy turned off. Like this only really makes sense in the concept of node taints policy. That's what we're talking about.
Yes, but I think it still would be beneficial to like verify with the API approvers whether such change is like acceptable from the user perspective, right? So that we don't silently break someone, because even if it's under the feature gate, it finally will be enabled by default. Someone may not notice and be like broken, right?
Absolutely. This is my first, I think, CAP in core. Do you know when the what is that the API machinery working group or is that a different API approver?
No, like there is a group of API approvers that you could ask. Because
Okay.
API machinery just is the machinery behind the API, but the API approvers is a different group.
Could you help me find like the list of names for that? I can reach out, but I don't know where to find that.
Yes, so not sure if we have them here. Let's see. Probably not. You can find them in the Kubernetes repository owners, I believe. Right. Yeah, so it is the list of the API approvers. So they should. someone from them should be able to answer, I think, this question.
Okay. Do folks reading the CAP have any input, thoughts?
Yeah, I saw some discussions with autoscaling team, right? About because as far as I understand, this cap delivers some limited, like covers limited number of use cases, like right? Because the whole zone must be unavailable and tainted for this to work. But as far as I know, there are more use cases that would benefit from some more generic mechanism, right?
Yeah, so the other use cases that we're targeting is like, well, how do you want um from an auto scaling perspective, I'm coming at this from the auto scaling perspective. I'm one of the Carpenter
Mhm.
maintainers, and from the auto scaling perspective, if you can't launch new nodes, but you can schedule to existing ones, you probably want to treat that differently than if you can't schedule to existing ones or launch new nodes. This is a bit of a blunt methodology on purpose, but that's because it actually the motivation from this isn't necessarily purely the auto-scaled perspective. It's also the static cluster config or static cluster perspective, where if you can't scale up and you only have like if you and you already have had room on zones that aren't affected or a failure domain that isn't affected, you probably still want to be able to schedule there. In the auto scale perspective, right now Kubernetes doesn't have any concept of nodes that don't exist yet. And I don't propose adding that for the purposes of this cap. There is a working group talking about proposing adding something like that, but I don't want to wait on that because this is necessary for the static cluster work use case as
Yes,
well.
that's right. And the change look kind of localized in your cap, so that's I think good, right? Because it won't be so huge. So maybe that's a good way of dealing with this, and then extend the support of harder use cases, right?
I'm going to bring it back to SIG auto scaling after you guys took a look at it, after you guys take a look at it, but I wanted SIG scheduling's input first because it's primarily a scheduling problem. It's not really an auto scaling problem.
Yeah, so from this perspective, like the solution looks, I think, okay for me. But one problem is like limited throughput of the reviewers and of the scheduling that we have each release. Right, just the workload level scheduling is our topmost priority, and it consumes most of our cycles. And
I understand.
yeah, we cannot promise that this cap can be delivered next release, right? Because we are still not sure what caps will be there and what will be the numbers, so we'll have to prioritize it somehow, right? But
Yeah.
thanks for bringing
Do
it
you know
at this so that we can put that on our list, like that. Maybe.
where do those prioritization conversations happen?
Yeah, they will be on the future SIG meetings, I believe, because we will take some priorities from the working group for cloud scheduling, apply them to our priorities of the SIG, right? Because we have the bus, we have TLA, and we will have a few more caps. I already saw today two more discussions about some cap proposals for the scheduler. So yeah, I think you have to stay tuned for the
Okay. Yeah,
prioritization,
I'll keep
right?
showing up.
Yeah. But the benefit is that, as I mentioned, it looks small, so that's good, but it still requires like route review from our side.
Sounds good. If anybody has any questions or wants to leave a review, please, I'll be monitoring the cap. Please take a look. Let me know what you think. I'm very happy to listen to input.
All right. Another questions to Derek or anything else to discuss about this topic? If not, yeah, do you have any other topics to discuss today other than these topology constraints? If not, we could conclude the meeting. So I think, okay, so if we don't have any other topics, I think we can finish now. So thank you for joining today and see you on the next SIG meetings. Thank you.